Okay, let's welcome back to the show Heritage Foundation Senior Legal Fellow Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, it's great to have you on. Hans, former President Obama's ethics chief, Walter Shaub, out with a stunning statement warning President Biden is not doing enough to stop potential pay-to-play conflicts of interests involving the president's brother, Frank. What do you say to that?
Oh, I think he's exactly right about that. What needs to happen is a public promise and pledge by, for example, his brother, that he will not be representing any clients or any individuals who have interests before the federal government. Because if he did, what federal agency is going to potentially say no to the brother of the president of the United States? And basically, he needs to swear off any kind of business that involves the executive branch of the federal government.
Frank Biden consults with a law firm down in Florida. Let's listen to Walter Shaub here.
We have Joe Biden coming in as a reformer and having pledged that there would be a real distance between him and his family. And already we've seen Frank Biden's law firm touting his connection to the firm and noting that he's a relative of the president's. I think it's not enough for the White House to tell us they have a mysterious process of some sort. I'd like them to tell us what that process is. And although it's not required by the rules, we're in a period when we're rebuilding from ethical failure. So I'd like to hear the president say that he has asked his brother to stop touting the connection to the White House.
It's not just Frank Biden. It's Hunter Biden. It's President Biden's other brother. It's other family connections, too, that it's being called Biden Incorporated. Your reaction to that?
Well, unfortunately, all of that is right. And we saw exactly the same kind of what I consider to be misbehavior when Joe Biden was the vice president. We had his son being paid lots of money and getting involved with corporations in both China and the Ukraine. And what was seen pretty clearly was going on there was those companies were seeking political allies and friends in the United States by making sure that members of Joe Biden's families were profiting and trying to use that relationship. And what we need are promises from the members of Joe Biden's family, not just the White House, that in fact they are not going to repeat that kind of behavior while Joe Biden is the president. So far, we've not gotten that.
One source told me it feels like they need an ethics czar just on the Biden family alone. Ethics experts are now raising concerns about President Biden's surgeon son-in-law, who has ties to a healthcare company working with the federal government on vaccine distribution. Then you have, by the way, let me just back up. The Biden administration is going to keep John Durham, the special counsel on the Trump-Russia probe. They're going to keep David Weiss, who's the U.S. attorney looking into Hunter Biden's connection to potential money laundering and tax evasion. Hans, we have Hunter Biden's attorney, Chris Clark, who's friends with Nicholas McQuaid, worked with him at the same law firm. Nicholas McQuaid is now overseeing the DOJ criminal division that is overseeing the Hunter Biden probe. Aren't there thousands of other attorneys that the Biden administration could have picked for that job? Why Nicholas McQuaid?
Yeah, at the very minimum, he needs to recuse himself from making any decisions as the head of the criminal division over that particular investigation. And while the Biden administration seems to have said they're not going to interfere with either of those two investigations, what we actually need is a promise and pledge from the incoming nominee to be the new Attorney General, Merrick Garland, that he promises that he will not interfere with either of those investigations. I don't think we've heard that from him yet.
It is, and then you've got Hunter Biden still owning a 10% stake in that Chinese equity fund. Remember, right. Hunter Biden flew on Air Force Two with then Vice President Biden to China and then got $1.5 billion out of the Chinese government for this investment fund that invests in big-time energy projects that compete with the U.S. We're talking about Chinese petroleum, also military technology applications, the companies that do that, also, facial recognition companies, Chinese General Nuclear Power Core, They had officials who were sanctioned there who were trying to steal U.S. secrets, nuclear energy secrets. So, this keeps getting deeper and deeper, Hans.
Well, it does. And what that history unfortunately shows is that members of the president's family were willing to profit at the expense of U.S. companies and, frankly, U.S. national security. And the last thing we need is a repeat of that kind of behavior during this administration. And so far, we don't seem to be really getting any steps or any promises that this isn't going to happen again.
All right, Hans von Spakovsky, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.